Hello. Well, bad news is my neighbors are back at work. They're now drilling into rock and grinding metal again. Yay! Just what I needed. But I've got a batida, so that's gonna help. Mmm. Yum. That's gonna keep me going. All right, science. We're in chapter unit 11. Oceans. What are the oceans like? Um, I love it on page 492. It tells us that, quote, that's a lot of water. And really, that's really all we need to know, isn't it? Are we done with the chapter? It's a lot of water. How much water is on the planet? Like 71%? Is that what it is? Of the Earth's surface is covered with water. Or, as the book tells us, that's a lot of water. Yeah, it's a lot of water. On page 493, you have to do the math. Not really much math to be done there. Because look at that graph. It's a pie chart, as they say. It looks like a pie. It's been cut into different pieces. You know, right, that the Pacific Ocean is the biggest ocean on the planet. So if you look at that pie chart, what's the biggest section? The green section, obviously. What's the next biggest section? That purple one. And what's the next biggest ocean? Not much math we're doing. It's just kind of looking at what's the biggest to the smallest. And we know what the biggest to the smallest are because they list them in order on the previous page, on 492. I did know that the Indian Ocean is almost as big as the Atlantic Ocean. Did not know that at all. Learn something new every day. Pages 494 and 495, they ask you to circle phrases that describe the problems of ocean exploration. So, what are some of the problems with ocean exploration? Well, can't breathe, because that's a big problem. We can't breathe underwater. So you have to go inside you can scuba dive, you can snorkel, you can get in a submarine, you can do all those things. As you go deeper into the ocean, what happens? A lot less sun, because the sun light doesn't reach the bottom of the ocean. It gets really dark. And what else happens? The pressure builds up. Because you are underneath a ton of water. It's on top of you. Gravity's still working. It's funny, when you're swimming, there's a sense that you're free from gravity. Like, I feel like I'm flying when I swim. Because you're but gravity's still pulling you, and it's pulling the water as well. And so if you're underneath it, if you're way down below it, there's a lot of water pressure on top of you. On pages 496 and 497, these are a lot. Later in the chapter, they're going to ask you, to fill in the quiz. Fill in, like, what is this? What is this? These pages, 496 and 497, have almost all the answers that you're going to want when you get later. And it is talking about all the different, what we call the geographical features of the ocean floor. It starts on this map. We're going to say that this is the west, and this is the east, and this is the north, and this is the south. Because when you get here, it's going to say, as you walk from west to east, so you're walking from here that way. Coastal plain. Coastal plain is simply like the flat part of the land that's next to the ocean. You can really see this when you go to the south of Puerto Rico. You drive over the mountains. Let's say you're going to Ponce. Drive up over the mountains, and you come down, and you can just see it's flat all along the ocean, all along the coast. And lots of agriculture, lots of people growing things there. So that's the coastal plain. And then the continental shelf is that as you go off the continents, big pieces of land, hit the ocean, water. As you go out into the ocean, it doesn't get deep right away. It doesn't go thump down. There's like a flat edge to it. which, back when there was ice ages, what were those continental shelves were land, because there's less water, because it's all up in frozen into ice. And as you know, you could the continents were much bigger during the ice ages because that continental shelf was exposed to the air. It was land. Continental slope. The slope is when you go down. Is it a steep slope? Is it a slow slope? The slope of a mountain, the slope of a hill. Continental slope is simply where that continent, where it goes from land into the ocean, and at some point it goes and gets deep. An oceanic trench. We've got an oceanic trench right near us called the Puerto Rican Trench. Well, the second deepest trench in the world. We have no idea what's at the bottom of it. As we keep going, what do we see? Oh, there's also the volcanic mountains, which again, here in the Caribbean, we've got plenty of those. Our islands were formed by volcanoes. Most of them are not active, thankfully, though there are some that are right nearby. Not right nearby, but in the neighborhood, in the Caribbean neighborhood. And then also you have the abyssal plain. That is a great word, the abyssal plain. The abyss is, I'm going to look it up in my dictionary real quick, because I'm just going to say an abyss is A-B-Y-S-S. Abyss, a deep or seemingly bottomless chasm. Woo! That's the thing. That's like, you're deep staring into the abyss, like, will it ever end? Seemingly bottomless. That's great. It's not, but it sure seems like it. And a plain is the same as the plain on the earth, on land. A plain is just like a big flat area. The Great Plains in the United States is a big area in the middle of the country. It's just flat. And so the abyssal plains are the flat parts of the ocean. All right, what else we got in this chapter? Islands come and go. So volcanic eruptions create islands, and then they slowly wear down. They're eroded over the course of time. You can see that on land in older mountains, they've eroded and they have weathered down. They're smaller than the big new mountains like the Himalayas, which are still growing. Himalayans are still getting bigger. They can turn, and you have to make a little drawing about what happens. Draw what this island might look like at 2 points in the future. Explain the process that what your drawings show. You guys can make up whatever you want. In 1,000 years, maybe that little island is turned into a casino. Maybe it's turned into like Disney World has like taken it over. Draw whatever you want in this section. They're asking you to make stuff up for 1,000 years and 10,000 years from now. I mean, you have to explain it. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about science is you get to make conjectures. You get to make up, like, maybe this will happen. But it has to be based on some idea, some possibility. So who knows? Go crazy. That's part of science, is going crazy. And then we get to your first, brain check, which I would suggest all of you to have your brain checked regularly. On page 500, identify each feature on the ocean floor. Again, all those answers were on 496 and 497. The bottom part, fill in the missing words. Of course, you've got the answers at the bottom of the page, as you all know. That's just asking you to list the names of the oceans. And all ocean water is what? Salty. It's more than just salt. It's lots of minerals, but salt is the biggie. And the measure of which is the water's salinity. Who can name a city, municipio in Puerto Rico, who is based on that because it's so salty there? Because it's next to the ocean. Well, it's next to the Caribbean because it's on the south coast. What city is that? Page 501. Unscramble the words in the box. Ooh, there's the box. Again, all of those are from pages 496 and 497. You find all the answers in 496 and 497. Last page, apply the concepts. Draw a region of the ocean floor. Label at least 3 features. You can do that. Sounds like fun. Maybe add some mermaids, maybe a kraken, maybe some odd sea creatures that you've invented, because it is in the abyss, the seemingly bottomless depths of the ocean. There's a lot about the ocean we don't know, because we've never been there. And it's so big, so much bigger. And it's harder to look at. Number 3, describe 3 problems of exploring the deep ocean that are solved by submersibles. Well, instead of swimming down there with your snorkel, if you're in a submersible, which submersible, is that just like the new word for submarine? What's the difference between a submarine and a submersible? I need to look that up and figure that out. Number 4, what protection can a diver's suit and gear provide? What deep problems can the suit not solve? Well, what do you got in your back in that scuba diver? What are they using that for, huh? Number 5, why is the deep ocean cold and dark? Because they forgot to pay their electricity bills. Obviously. The IA came and cut them off. I'm typing up submersible. Submersible, designed to be completely submerged or operate while submerged. A submersible boat or other craft, especially one designed for research and exploration. All right, sounds good. What's the difference in a submarine? Oh, a submarine is a warship with this, number 1 also. Huh. So a submarine, learn something new every day, is for military use. A submersible is anything that gets you underwater. So there you go. Don't call them submarines unless you're using them to send torpedoes, which hopefully you're not. Don't send torpedoes in the abyss, because you might make the Kraken very, very mad. Trying to hit stop.